Hello. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever on a day at the world. Welcome to VOS. Today, in February 2nd, 2025. With me, Mr. Victor Mengot from Surrey, England, and Mr. Jalo Jamburia from Norway. And usually, when I know say I can co-host with them, so I hope I want to know so they can bring tremendous amount of information way at the end of the show. I think can left we wiser than we were when we start. So we hope say today not gonna be any different. Now we get some topics that we want to deal with. So some of them topics then we will not deal with we would not begin them, but we'll not when I just saw this in a continuation. We want to talk about just Parliament and the role of Parliament and the government, meaning the executive, and then committees them now Parliament, where Parliament can appoint for deal with certain issues or bills, where they can table or come up with. So in the process, we may touch a little bit on counterterrorism, traffic enforcement, the role of displacement of agencies, and policing the ban on Okada operation. So little here and little there. So today broadcast, Mr. Mengot Naingo take the lead. So in the process, I will tell listeners them. If you get any questions, the lines are open as soon as we begin. So if you get questions pertaining to the issue at hand, please feel free to call. And so we'll get you on the line and we'll take your call as soon as it's practicable. Okay, let me go to the phone number then we can always require, we can inform people about, just in case somebody wants for call. So we get certain phone numbers then we can listen to it, they'll get used to or familiar with. So the VOS Network numbers them. In North America, we include the United States, Canada, and Mexico. We'll get a toll-free line when at 1-866-944-7722. 1-866-944-7722. Similarly, in England, they get a local line where you not get for call international. You could just call +44 20 80 89 1455. +44 20 80 89 1455. Likewise, in Australia, you get local line, which means it don't cost you anything. You just call +61 2909 84 337. Again, Australia, +61 2909 84 337. Then you get the universal line, regardless of who side you call from, anywhere in the world. As long as they get WhatsApp connection, now we get a WhatsApp line where you can call from anywhere. When a +1 343 997 5828. +1 343 997 5828. In addition to the lines there, where you can call in and and again, to remind you now, when we know, if you join for the first time, this is an interactive broadcasting. So it's live. So you can call in and participate by asking questions, announcing yourself, whether you be where you're calling from and all of that. In addition to the numbers that were given, there are other media where you can able to reach with, such as VOS Radio in Freetown, we're at 91.9 FM. VOS Radio in Freetown, 91.9 FM. Then you also can download or forget that radio station there, and for downloads and get easy access to it, you can download the television mobile app from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. So if you go on Google Play Store or the Apple Store, you can able to download VOS, the app. That app they go get on a easier or easily to we. There are then they carry we on YouTube, Instagram, and X that used to formerly be what you would call Twitter. Okay, then we also get another medium called Twitch, TWICH, VOS.com. We go able for reach we on Twitch. So VOS website then go on the www.vostelevision.com. The radio go on, if you want to go on the website, www.vosradio.com. Like I say, I don't talk about the Google Play Store and the Apple Store. Okay, so with that said, let me pass on over to my co-host for self-introduction, and then we'll go proceed. So the person who will lead with this evening, now Mr. Victor Mengot, so I will pass on to Mr. Jamboria, introduce himself, then to Mr. Mengot, who takes it over and do the rest of the opening. So to you, Mr. Jamboria.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Good evening, good afternoon, good day, wherever on a day. I will pass them over to Mr. Mengot because they are not a tell I do panty and they make an career. Over to you.
Well, Famulem, good evening, and I thank the co-hosts them for this program. One thing I would like to say, and we know say last week we get a lot of participation. We get people asking, we get people forward while they be interactive. And do them program, enough time for get people. And so now consider we get too many. It relates to what we've been talking the last time. The last time show a video where the chief minister, they talk say the opposition because they support progress according to program for give the government ideas of waiting for do. Now this position we come from the UN system who adopt through Britain. Yeah, they are all members of parliament, but we get people when our government in waiting. And to let things happen, then get for work with the people that waiting in power for we make good laws then. And law remind people that waiting at the role of parliament, because that's one do today. Parliament number one rule waiting government they do, and say the government before they can they don't get festo, they don't tell you what they do. And for CC waiting, then tell we say they get for do. Or the government department, the ministry, they get different mandate. Them power for operate. Parliament get a role there for look at them. Parliament also get a role for look into the finances, the money where government they raise, how they spend them, who they spend them, and what you need the benefit of the people. Then the third part, Parliament law. Then go ahead and make a new law or review an existing law. So this now, and for that, they get for work with the government, with resident, and also work with the judiciary. When are the last friend they work in call them? They man they would wiggle. Tell God take who get one among winner. So they man they would let's say get for be involved. So let's start because I want to start by looking at one way for all Parliament to account when the former speaker thing he say. We'll look at that video, then we'll get to talk about how then committee them for work for all government to account, waiting at the processes and involvement of so no.
Now, first in the news tonight, Speaker of Parliament Honorable Terno Abbas Bundu has assured citizens that the 6th Parliament will not fail like the 5th Parliament in inviting ministers for questioning and queries more frequently. Speaker Bundu was speaking on issues boarding the Waka Fine buses. Samuel Tunisoya files in the story.
Before the amendment of the Local Government Act of 2004 in 2016, MPs were responsible for maintaining and addressing basic issues like roads, energy, water challenges, and other things relating to community development. It changed, however, when Parliament amended the Act, thus shifting the burden off them. Notwithstanding that, the oversight responsibility on the legislature makes them the sole advocate of the people. However, the 5th Parliament did pass in calling out and questioning those responsible for effecting development. To address these challenges, Speaker Bundu says the trajectory should be changed in this 6th legislature.
We did our damnedest in the 5th Parliament, never really got around to doing anything in that direction. I think we should break the glass ceiling this time and make it, instead of the exception, the norm, that ministers should begin to come to the well to answer questions. In certain parliaments, it's the tradition that they do so on a particular day.
He added that this is to allow people to ask burning questions to their leaders through their representatives.
Question time is actually a channel for your constituents to ask the government questions through your good selves in the web. An opportunity for your constituents to echo their concerns through your good selves to the ministers, or doing so in the world.
Deputy Opposition Leader 1, Honorable Daniel Koma, emphasizes the need for public officers to be accountable to the masses.
My only issue that committee report cannot substitute the summon of ministers to give their explanation. And besides, the public perception would be better satisfied if the minister comes here and explains.
Leader of Government Business, Honorable Martin Yuma, encourages MPs to take good advantage of the time, not digressing from the purpose.
Let me reiterate the point and be emphatic about it. We are not creating a platform and any embarrassment. We are just trying to have a platform where we can think democracy can be at a level where it can be best practices.
At the end of the deliberation, it was agreed that Parliament will be regularly summoning ministers for question time. Samuel Tony Sawyer, AYV News, Freetown.
Okay, family, I don't hear this broadcast. And this now at the beginning of 6th Parliament, Abbas Bundu. Then they start a new way now for Parliament for call the ministers them to account for can get questions them. So when they call them, question them, and MPs then will question the minister on issues where relate to government or things where they affect the constituency. For example, where they talk about things where they are in constituency. One, if we take today, now the first anniversary of the Wakafine buses, because they mention it. So people are waiting call the transport minister. For let it come, then they get opportunity for ask her about the success of blessings we don't learn. One form of holding the government to account, but he also mentioned about committees. One for Rob Motpan, this committee then work the different committees, and our committee can be effective for all government to account. But before I go there, let give me other colleagues them the opportunity, but they don't see the video, they don't hear me introduction. If they want Rob Motpan this talk, before I go into the work of the committees there and the different committees, government for the people, and we get participation from the people in the lawmaking process. Over to you first, Mr. Jamboya.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. You see, from what you are listening, I think we still get a problem of distinguishing between traditional governance and Westminster governance. Parliament in the Westminster system has the power of oversight. Parliament in the presidential system as it operates in America has the power of oversight. That power is not personal, it is institutional. When you listen to Sierra Leone politicians talk, you always see that they juxtapose the person and the institution. The minister represents an institution that has a name: Ministry of Transport, Ministry of Trade, etc., etc. But when you take them, you personalize them, then it becomes a little bit removed from efficient governance. And that exactly is what I think Dr. Abbas Bundu, when they try to make clear for that short period. Say we forgive the parliamentarians a chance for speak to the voice of the people. Because the parliamentarians are representing the people, not themselves in parliament. And when you look at the committees, them as rightly they say, we just talk about them. When committee they sit, then can invite anybody in the ministry where they have administrative or supervisory role to can answer certain questions. It's all part of the oversight. Normally, the minister will go to sit in the well to answer questions if there is need for him to be questioned by the general body of members of parliament. But when it comes on technical issues, forget into the depth of issues, now the professionals in the ministry, now then they can't do that at committee level. Why are they say this? I want to let people get this thing clear. Because people they have always mistaken certain offices for personify them with the people then. And one of the reasons will make we system don't broke down. I go anger and they first as the discussion they go, I go make this more clear.
Yes, Mr. Shillon, what can I take on this first introductory side?
Very briefly, but as just tagging on to what Mr. Jamboria just said, first of all, because I talk about then go as we get that same system now. First of all, the distinction, the Westminster, and easy. Okay, another try for show knowledge now, but easy for we for call Westminster minister, but the NI not in a Minster. So let people understand what we say Westminster, not to Westminster. May they understand that. As Mr. Jamboria put on, you see, we get a conflict. We're still struggling with we laws, with a parliamentary system, with a governance system. We are still struggling with trying to understand the basics between the two systems here, what Mr. Jamburia mentioned. We are having problem with the parliamentary system as opposed to the constitutional system. And one thing as basic as they come, what we still not understand is that Parliament is not supreme. The Constitution is supreme. Parliament is subject to the dictates of the Constitution, not the other way around. Parliament cannot pass laws that abridge the requirements or stated intention of the Constitution. Any law Parliament pass can be questioned whether it's constitutional or not, or whether it meets the litmus test of the Constitution. And if not, you can challenge that law there, where we generally they refer to as acts. We could challenge the constitutionality of that law there. Okay, which means whether the law itself is legal or legitimate. So it not necessarily mean when Parliament pass law, it automatically becomes legitimate. Or it could be, but it can be challenged. So where we don't undermine ourselves, the body or the institution responsible for declare the law as being constitutional or unconstitutional are the courts. But the courts have had their one leg at least taken up from under them. So the court not get the wherewithal, they not get the standing, they not get the power, they not get for declare Parliament, any law Parliament pass as unconstitutional. And the lawyers are not even challenging laws on constitutional ground where Parliament pass. They don't even raise the issue in there. And we see a whole lot of unconstitutional laws or acts or that you can simply challenge on strictly constitutional grounds and simple laws them. But we're not do them. So I don't say add down there. So it seems to me, if we try to improve the system, what we must do, we must not assume, say, because some of the parliamentarians they can read and write, or because some of them are lawyers, or doctors, or professors, or highly credentialed people. I don't use the word educated, because I am one of those who think you can get what we call educated fools. Okay, they get all the book sense, but they don't get common sense. Okay, so I'm not so big on this. Well, so we therefore take with parliamentarians them to basic level and treat them all. And this is, I don't mean any insult. This is what you generally do. Anybody, I don't know for Australian standard, which now one of the other problems we run into. Because they exposed with locally trained lawyers in Australia to sophisticated systems. Then they come abroad, can run one or two courses, then go back, then say, I'll be there America, I'll be there Australia, I'll be there South Africa. But it takes more than that. But the point for me to make is, if you are a trial lawyer, anybody who know anything about trying a case under strict rules of evidence and court procedures, will know when you depict a jury, you treat every juror or every prospective juror as someone who knows nothing about the legal system. Because if you make the mistake of assuming that, oh, Professor X, oh, Lawyer Y, oh, Dr. P, the prospective juror, and assumes that he understands the system, you will be grossly mistaken. So what we normally do, another system that we need for introducing our country, when people find themselves elected into parliament, they should be required to take tutorial courses in basic government practices and the ABCs of government. We don't just assume, say, because they're a professor, they're not this, they're not that, or they're not APC, they don't go SFPP, they don't go PNP, they don't go, because, you know, we got some politicians with a room all over all the parties them. So they know everything. They don't. So if we can begin to treat politicians, or parliamentarians, them in particular, as novices, people that will not know nothing about the running of parliament, and make them go through classes, maybe a 6-week course, 4-week course, whatever the system desire, some of them probably will go avoid them, you know, and we will begin to make legislations them more effective and more procedural than we're supposed to. As we continue with this discussion, Mr. Mengot will point out some missteps, some things that we were supposed to do for let something become law, things that will Parliament for take 4 or 6 weeks for debate and review, and they do it in 4 hours. 4 hours. And then they rush them into law. All this does a great disservice to the country. So now that don't make me want to say, generally speaking, let us not assume say parliamentarians are so informed, are so knowledgeable about the workings of parliament, because we're still struggling with differentiating between parliament and parliamentary system and constitutional system. We don't even get that basic distinction they well understood yet, let alone for go to the next step. So let me go back to Mr. Mengot, because I know the lead speaker I had today is imposed on in time.
Thank you. So into 2 sessions, because it also, where would they do something, we get for put in context. Because right now we get 2 bills them now Parliament. Although government they call they can call an act, lawmaking clear. A bill now a proposed legislation, we get for go through certain stages them, and until it receive a presidential assent. That's where we don't go the stage. I will talk about that at the second part before it becomes an act. We go make a law. So when you put a bill to make an act, it's very confusing. Also, let's talk about Parliament, the scrutiny, the committee, the work of the committee, waiting them for do, and how they for do. All members of Parliament will be involved, and also then go get for work with the people them. Now make sure they can say representation of the people. Because parliamentarians that we send them there for go represent we. They're not there on their own. So when they do their work, they get for consult with. Me talk about the constitutional system and the parliamentary system. And I explain to family what that name mean. Because Salona hybrid system we get. Because we get a system akin to the American system, where America get constitution, where the executive members them, they are not parliamentarians. They are appointed by the president and approved by parliament, which are ministers, head of parastatals, all the one and they are approved by the parliament itself. On the parliamentary system where my other colleague talk, where you say Westminster na day because na day the British Parliament day. Minster model. Na that then they use for all Commonwealth countries. Because we get an organization called the Commonwealth Parliament, of which Sierra Leone is a member, where they get certain procedures and steps. Because under that system, Britain not get a constitution. They not get a constitution. Then they operate through the rules and procedures of Parliament in a document called Estimate. So under the British system, the ministers are already in a parliamentarian. So they get for anything. But under the other system, they are not parliamentarian. Parliament get for request bearers either for appear before a full parliamentary session or through a committee. So let's talk about the committee. Waiting at then committee. In Parliament, they get what we call the House Committee. This is a committee them where they deal with something for the running of Parliament. I will give 3 examples. We get the Ways and Means Committee, where that committee now they look after the parliamentary estates, everything for the Parliament itself, the resources that we need and all that thing. Then we get the Committee of Selection. That committee now they select where they serve now also they select MPs them where they go represent we externally, like ECOWAS Parliament or AU Parliament, right? So the one now can call the standing committee, but the committee they want to talk about now, we call now the Westminster model. That's under Parliamentary Association. Then call them departmental select committees. What does that mean? Then committee then they're responsible for every ministry and agencies under that ministry day. So like if you take Ministry of Transport, for instance, you get the Ministry of Transportation. Under that ministry day, you get Sierra Leone Road Safety Authority, we're responsible for road. You get the new way at the Sierra Leone Public Transport Authority, we're responsible for public transport. You get the Maritime Organization. You get the Civil Aviation Authority. You get the Sierra Leone Airports Authority. You get the Sierra Leone Ports Authority. All the one and they under the Ministry of Transport. So the select committee at either the minister himself in technical staff or their agencies, and they for accounts to them of their stewardship. And what's their responsibility? What's in the let they account to them? They want to know the policy, finance, and administration. You know, get for BT something happen. The committee get for set up. And how they form them committee here? Right? The committee mostly now 11 in number. And according to parliamentary regulation, the members then within the committee, it depends on till they almost sit then get a parliament. So the party will get majority seats, now they get the committee. Then they select the committee of selection, and they determine who that they be chairman of that committee day. That chairman of that like a mini speaker, because he get for run the committee for put government to account. So how then they work? Normally then committee then they forget technical specialists alone. They forget committee specialists then, which for help them navigate key issues then. Also, with parliamentary library, forget people away for provide support for the MPs them, and the MPs then also forget researchers them. Right? When they researchers them, and how they operate. When a committee want to look into an issue, let's say we look at the energy issue. Like transport, let not be seen at transport no matter they talk about. Because energy get EDSA, we get EGTC. The committee go put out a press release, say we want to look into, let's say, people and they complain about where they buy their meter, then buy their card, how then they shortchange them. They go, so we'll look into that issue there. So they go put out a press release, say we they invite written evidence from anybody, from any individual or company or pressure group. So the committee they receive their returns and they look into it, and then you get the people and participation. Because me says even if another salon I can write to the committee, I submit evidence to them. Then after that, the next session, then get oral evidence where then they call people them. Like you go call the electricity generating people them. Then you go get like consumer association, you call them, let them can give evidence. So the committee now they use the oral and written evidence for write the report. When they no write the report, the members and the votes on the recommendations. But if any member not agree with any recommendation, it can voice them out and then get for record them. So why they get 11 members? So if there's a tie, the chairman then get the casting vote. So that committee report then and they kind of the well of parliament where then they discuss now with the recommendation. So if we committee them in a work, we not go wait till every year where you get audit report and that thing and they find out say money short in yonder or this agency not do this, and Danny not do that. So I don't explain this committee out in the work. So over to you guys, if in our comment on which they explain.
Go ahead, Mr. Jambore.
Yes, sir. I think as you say, you don't rightly put the thing eye for day. But one thing that is missing, where I believe so for begin drama, going to Parliament as an elected member no make say you sabi all the procedures and rules and regulations. And I'm sure the Parliament of Sierra Leone is a member of several parliamentary systems. You get the African Union Parliament system, you get the ECOWAS, you get the Commonwealth, you get the United Nations, etc., etc. All of these institutions fund training programs for parliamentarians. Have we ever heard of parliamentarians having sessions, training programs, seminars, and things like that? Do we want to ask if these institutions are not supported earlier?
If you
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, now what normally happens, we get an organization called Westminster Foundation for Democracy. This is now some ex-MP at the UK. Yeah, one of several. So they went and they, at the beginning of every parliamentary session, then just they hold at least 1 week briefing for the new MPs then. Just 1 week. Just imagine you just come parliament at 1 week. The other way, also, then get opportunity for come out under the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association for go on study visits to other parliaments. But as you say, that is not enough. Okay, let's give example in other countries then. Like Kenya, for example, where I don't work and no. Then get home-built institution like Institute for Policy and Research. With that institute there, they work with parliamentarians for provide continuous training for the MPs
in service training,
in different areas, in finance, in things to do with lawmaking. So we not get that system there. That is where we have a problem. We lack institutions or professional institutions them where for provide support for MPs them with and if you remember, even when the MPs in the debate, you get some bully boys that just in a class, you get a man where they put a question all the time. So they can get here. What's in the SO40? Something the MP they don't know. SO40 in a standing order number 40. Establishing the rules and procedures of Parliament. And that standing order, it get for related to the Constitution, give the parliamentarians. So that is the gap where we have serious problems, sir.
I raised this issue specifically because if Parliament therefore be an efficient oversight institution, it forgets the intellectual as well as technical capacity for do so. You see, we are making several mistakes in Sierra Leone that when somebody don't learn book, he don't go university, he don't start the whole thing. And it affects efficiency in the country. I can have a DSc in whatever, but that does not make me an effective administrator. If I not do administration as a cause, if I not don't work as an intern or whatever in administration, then put me in a position of administration, I go falter. I not go able to perform because that book I learn not to in the administer. Now my ability for understand how to deal with the issues that are particular to the job where they do, now it matter. And this is where we are going wrong. We always all about bad leadership, bad governance. But we know they put together the things then for make we get the correct leadership. We believe in now God mark them, now so God mark. Yes, God don't mark everything. But what are we doing to promote efficiency? With Parliament as it is, it's a big laugh. I would say that without any malice, it's a big laugh. Because some of them rules here, then laws here, when they pass in Parliament, even the procedures with then go tell you first reading, second reading. But how do you do it? What is the procedure? What should be done whilst you are doing your first reading? Is it just to say we have agreed on this they talk here under, then they ally under, then they say who are in favor, say aye. That's the job. And as so we don't take them past laws them where they affect we country. If we could recollect, at the time when they go through the electoral law, a lot of missteps been take place. The public raised concerns. They overlook the concerns of the public, especially on the issue of the PR system. Parliament cannot overlook what the public wants because the Constitution of Sierra Leone is clear that sovereignty belongs to the people. If you want to pass a law and the people are shouting, no, we don't want that law, hold on to your readings, get the opinion of the people. If you feel, say, you still not get the correct opinions, after your so-called readings, ask for a referendum. Referendums are not only for entrenched clauses. America, when they do referendum all the time, when they call and pull. Not so, Mr. Shillon?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to upgrade the intellectual capacity of the institution. As Mr. Shillon rightly say, the Constitution is what is supreme. And Parliament represents the Constitution because the Constitution is made to protect the people, not to go against the people. And that's why the Constitution in chapter 2 says, sovereignty belongs to the people. And if it is a property of the people's voices should be heard all the time. If we have something is going to be passed, the people say, no, this thing will get out bottom. Go back to the people, ask them why. But when parliamentarian and our paramount chief, the people and our subjects, they don't do that. Over to you, sir, Mr. Shillon.
Yes,
All right.
Mr. Shillon, what's your take on the issue?
Yeah. Well, again, in addition to what Mr. Jambore had to say, we just need, because they talk about in-service training, and Mr. talk about that we parliamentarians, they need more education in terms of parliamentary procedures. They may be educated in other fields. If we want efficiency, in fact, this remind me of, I've been listening to one of we sister program, Matilda and show, then a caller who usually calls in on our own show, call in and say, yeah, at the call, when I always get answer, but we're not to go inside. And I say, tell Matilda, I say, we always call with the waste question, but we're not to go anywhere, meaning the country not to go anywhere. That should not be at the purpose of for broadcasting. So with the raise the issue, I let people then understand. For say, we get for really begin for stop putting square pegs in round hole. So some of the things that these are basic stuff then where Mr. Mengot, Mr. Jambore and they suggest. If we just follow them, we will come out with a better system. But if we just do them by name, but we don't have to follow what keeps the practice in place, then we will always end up with the shorter end of the stick. So generally speaking, I just want for simply say, I believe in a tutorial for parliamentarians, meaning some crash course, 4-week, 6-week course, for let them understand the basics of parliament and government in general. I believe so. I say, I even when we talk about about parliament and the local and government, we will not forget to say this is we not only they talk about the central government. When we talk about local government, we talk about chiefdoms. We talk about districts. We talk about provinces. We talk about cities. You get city government, provincial government. Chiefdom government. All until and then they function under slightly different rules and regulation. So I have to bring all of that under one umbrella and make things efficient. These are the challenges that we have, not to for destroy which already exists. Now, for make the existing system, then they will be already there, collaborate and work with more efficiency and with better results. But that's not what we're saying. People keep undercutting the existing system, making them less and less efficient, thereby making the delivery of the end product worthless. So again, and this practice don't go on for years, but it's about time we begin to recognize that and we begin to pay attention to what good governance is all about. Before we get into all the even other, before we get into parliament, that same practice there for be recognized at local level, city council, district councils, but until we believe in that and practice that, we just spin we will because we're not going anywhere. And Mr. Jambore say, we Sierra Leoneans generally believe, this is our general concept. Once you don't get that diploma, American man say diploma, once you don't get that certificate there, say you don't graduate from college, whether in a bachelor's degree or whether in a master's degree or whether in a doctorate degree, the average Sierra Leonean will concept it, I don't learn book. I don't need any more learning. So once we take that concept there and we keep them in place, we're not going to ever fit into modernization or progressive situation. Because everything when you learn today, anybody who know anything about education, by next week it don't become stale because education, they move so rapidly. What you learn today in a classroom can become old by next week. So there are new ideas come. Well, anybody who follow up the news, look, America, they make big talk about AI. What did China do last week? They come up with a super AI. We throw America and the world out of order because America feels that they get the best. And then China, they own research. Who say it cost the American $500 and some dollar, or $500 and some $1,000 for come up with some what you then create. The Chinese them now like $500 or $50 something dollar, they come up with a better kind. You see, so that's because education not stagnant, knowledge not stagnant. But Sierra Leoneans believe they want to rule today with yesterday's mentality. They work that way there because things change. Medical science, aviation science, you change anything. There are new techniques coming up because there are young people being born, then they see things, then go revise things, then go try for modify things, and on and on and on and on. So we really need to get on the ball. This mentality of just accumulating diploma, meaning paper certificate on the wall, but very little practical experience for backup, it takes us nowhere. It takes us nowhere. So all it does is just encourage we for make big shot, go home and say, this man they go Harvard, this man they go Yale, this man go Oxford, this man go Cambridge. But the taste of the pudding lies in the eating. Now you don't get the Oxford and Harvard. Sure, we waiting you can produce with that degree there. A lot of time it results into emptiness. So let me go back to Mr. Mango. Let me also tell the listeners then the lines are open. Please feel free to call if you get any contribution for making any objection. Back to you, Mr. Jambore. Mr. Mango.
Okay. Now, something I want to mention, because
yes,
my colleague, Mr. Jambore, talk one thing. when me say believe in, sovereignty belongs to the people. We representative, whether na ordinary members them or chief. I want to talk about the role of the Paramount chieftain in terms of this one. But before I say that, we get one call out the line. Lord, take a break. Listen what you get for say. Then I will talk about how we go represent the people and better, how the people's voices will be heard in Parliament, waiting at the system will get for put in place for later they happen. Then the second letter we'll
Maybe
talk about the law.
I have a similar system in my head.
We get the call on the line, sir.
Hello, caller. What's your name? Say the call.
Yes.
Hello.
Good evening again, gentlemen. Three young
Good
men.
evening. Yes.
How would they do?
Thank you. Well, you do very well.
Well, you know, where they talk about the constitution, me, I get, now something where I know say the document, it's not to say it bad or low. But the problem here is the power we put in one office when at the executive. Now the same thing during that the judiciary, nothing, and the parliament, well, even worse. Because then normally the parliament is more powerful than the executive, the presidency.
Yeah.
But not the case. The main reason we are called for contributing now for make a ask or low contrast. The tell way EB keep within a power, now he make an independent body for go do this review. So for sure say the people are independent, we encounter the recommendation them, EBK they reject them. So the SLPP them been going and cry, say, oh, them people had always money, this, that. And then don't kind of power 7 years running. Then say we then put then say go select some things then from that document there, where they don't even take 1/3 of the recommendation them. So make we see what actually we go able to do for make them people let them pull their hand. The presidency, let them pull their hand, come up and the process, like we then do today under EBK, let them accept the documents as it is. Or if not only for accept as it is, make them put people away, not get anything for do political party or civil society the way government leaning. Because not as we can put civil society the way opposition leaning, because we all in opposition right now. Because they look at the bad things there with the bad governance, bad system, there with the castigate them. So if they're able to put people way completely independent, we don't get anything for do like now they make the committee, now then they lead them. They say 9 people from the president, from the presidency, or they did it. So what kind of thing is that? How because then people they can't try to take power or comfort from them. Mm-hmm. They're not going to allow that for me to do them to them. So make we when we do something, or maybe someone could put something on the table where we make sure say then people are completely they pull a hand on this year, they take them like how Cowan, if not Justice Cowan been cow them, because who says if Mika as I talk, I don't even understand what's in the inside, but what's in here, they say most of the things they did, then good for take some power away from the presidency. Now the first thing that one contributor. Thank you.
All right.
Well, before I respond, I see our friend, Mr. Tariu, don't send a comment. I don't know, the writing is small, but let's see if I can try for read them.
Mr.
Kaku, gentlemen, your expectations...
a little bigger?
Yeah. It said, gentlemen, your expectations for our parliamentarians are different from what substance in a third world country like Sierra Leone. It's like expecting a baby to run faultlessly before he is able to walk. Our typical parliamentarian is a bloke that goes to parliament to make money by any means for himself and family. This is a contribution from one of
Yes.
our ardent listeners.
I tend to disagree with Mr. Tailu only because, first of all, we can't leave out the fact that Sierra Leone is a country that has had its independence for 60-some years. So, by any measure, anything that is 60-some year old can hardly be compared to a baby learning to work. Particularly when we know countries that had their independence way after Sierra Leone, countries like Kenya and the East African countries, are far ahead of us in terms of some of the standards they would propose for Sierra Leone. And we also get to take into account that Sierra Leone once used to be the Athens of West Africa, both in terms of education as well as development, infrastructural development. We were ahead. Sierra Leone was where people came to learn both institutionally for formal education as well as getting practical experience. Sierra Leone and the country will get first railroad at the sub-Sahara region. Sierra Leone then first get the first airline. Sierra Leone will get the first double-decker bus. Sierra Leone will get post office. We were first in so many things. So I think Mr. Tailu is not holding us. All we're trying to do is to hold Sierra Leone to the standard it ought to be and should have been had it taken governance seriously. To compare us as babies, we are undervaluing with talent and with capability. And of course, Mr. Tyler is one of the smartest guys I ever known in my life. So, but I'm willing for us to have that debate. But I think in order to give Sierra Leone the credit to Sierra Leone, we the whole Sierra Leone to a higher standard because we know they get the capability to perform at a higher level. And so we don't want Sierra Leone to act as if Gambia, that used to send all the students to Sierra Leone to be educated, are ahead of us in many things. What excuse do we have? Why should we think we're so feeble in achieving excellence that we have to treat ourselves as babies learning to work? Well, let me take another call.
We have another caller, sir.
Hello, caller. What is your name? Where you call from?
Yes, my name is Alpha Sisse. I call from Alaska. Thank you, Mr. Jamboria, Mr. Ceylon, Mr. Mengo. Thank you for the good work.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So, when you talk about the Parliament and the Constitution and what are key, well, me just include what are key there, because I want to give certain examples.
Indeed.
But before we go to the Parliamentary situation first, I want to give an example. Now the state here also we dey. Then get animals then where they call moose, and moose then look like cow. Now so then they like their animal here. A long time ago, people then they willfully involve accident, especially people that wouldn't get truck. So then they drive and certain place they wait and they a lot of moose and they cross the street and stuff. So then they bang the moose them all the time. They kill them, and then if you bang any moose, you kill them. You for take you take as like a meat, take an horse or whatever you want to do. So after a while, the accident at the beginning of Boku, people that they kill moose now, they take another horse, say na accidents. So what did they do? Now they say, okay, well, since the accident they don't begin the Boku, law will change the law. Now, if you bang any moose, you kill them when an accident. No take again. Take I put them, like now the side of the road left and they let the people that way they responsible for the animals and let they can't take them. From that time the way they pass that law. Now the accident stop. Now nobody the Muslims not hit them again. Because common sense approach to certain laws, not to only say when the constitution say this, now that no more than for the follow. Therefore, they also look at common sense approach to things where they happen at things that they progress, right? Another example back one give now. Yeah, I own some fourplexes there here in Anchorage, and one time they say, "Well, buy this building, one of the building them." That was 4 years ago, fourplex, and I just don't finish paint the house, and tenants they don't come in. So one of my tenants, then somebody break in. Now in window can steal some stuff. So now they call me, the landlord, I come. Where I come, the policeman, they watch all around the building, go circle the building, look inside, look outside. Now the policeman tell me, say, Mr. I don't think I will able to help you. Now I say, why? He say, well, I don't watch all around this building. No sign, no day. Where they right say, yeah, they're not for thief here. Even though they're not so for thief, not crime. But I not be put no sign like no trespassing or no lottery. I not put no sign at the building. So for some reason, the policeman say, well, he say, I'm not going to help you. Because this building here, we not say, yeah, for thief, not crime. But we not see no sign where they put post at this building say, yeah, they're not for thief here. So now me end up for return the customer in the way they thief the money. Right? So now I be talk last time, say I be the import goods them now it's a key. So Parliament be to pass a law. I don't know if you know this. I think it was 92 where the law passed say any goods where they ship na salon. Parliament for no but anything where they inside that container. So now with all the problem where they happen now at a key, when I say Parliament then they do a good work for make sure the situation where they happen now Turkey not they happen like the thief and other goods the way they can inside that container because they know anything where you ship, therefore know if you declare anything at that container and Parliament for know about that. I rest my case for today.
Thank you very much.
Well,
Mr.
I cannot say much about that, but as far as I know, I'm not aware of that law they will say Parliament for know everything where you get in the container. What you know, just like what I've been on talks now, Wataki na Sierra Leone Ports and Harbors Authority, I think it's another we call them. And they are under the supervision of the Parliamentary Committee on Transport. So the Parliamentary Committee on Transport can call the people the way they run Wataki, including the other specialist company like Bolloré, where we give contract to. In fact, this is what I talk about proactiveness. Then they can call them and ask them before they appear before the committee. Normally, they go ask them for give written submission about their operation. So now that written submission, the way they give to the committee, now the committee they use now for cross-examine them. And if they need any additional information, the committee will ask them for submit their information there. And when they cross-examine them, if they ask them about anything where they not get information at hand, they can promise the committee, say they go submit it in writing within a specific time. That's how effective a scrutiny committee for be. We know the work that way. But let's go back to the Representation of the People's Act. And I want to talk about one set of parliamentarians who they ignore. Now, we Paramount chief them. The Paramount chief them, they are voted in, because they call them PMP, Paramount Chief, PCMP, Paramount Chief Member of Parliament. Right? We get this convention in Sierra Leone Parliament where things say no right. Say the Paramount Chief them, whenever you get a vote where concern a government affairs, therefore vote in favor of the government, regardless of waiting at the wishes of the people. Let me throw this. Normally, under parliamentary practice, you get private member motions. I don't know if anybody can tell me whether any Paramount Chief don't want to raise a motion in Parliament for discuss issues them where relate to them chiefdom on them people. Because remember, the Paramount Chief then they, now they're the same one that within the regions them, we get mining activities them. We get activities them. Recently, we see the president go Marampa, he go give $3.7 million. Where we all clap for the $3.7 million. They say the mining company don't give it. Huh?
Dollars.
Yeah, dollars. The mining company don't give the people what's in called community fund compensation. But we not ever hear me not hear Paramount chief, any Paramount chief of the 14 PCMPs they will get, don't raise issue concerning the constituents. And then they deal with the most vulnerable people in society. So are they there just because of the entitled and for endorsed government business, or are they there representing their people? Another thing what we have to bring to the issue before we go to the next part. Now, this issue where they don't talk about now, this constituency development fund, where then they give MP them. Because I remember at one time, the present Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Tawa Conte, it is on record, not to me make up. When he been trying for ruffle the feathers in the Parliament, then me actually ask and say, he been take money for provide constituency office, and he not been provide them. So he been careful come for defend himself and say he be even put your money. So there's provision for every MP for get a constituency office. Why you they get a constituency office? The constituency office now for make sure say when you go na your constituency every week, now make sure that they give allowance. You get for be accessible by the people them. Now that only the people and they can't tell you waiting them one of them, waiting in them belly for let you go raise up in parliament, or if now issue with parliament they discuss where they affect them, you go fight them case because you are there to represent the people, not yourself. So these are another gap we get. But before I continue with the next part, we'll go look at the lawmaking process in the context of this anti-terrorism bill. Let I read Mr. Tyler again. He said, I beg to disagree with you, my learned friend, Mr. Shillon. I believe our institution passed an...
No, illustrious past.
I believe our illustrious past and impressive historical achievement have been mismanaged by a political class to take us backwards, principally because of tribalism, ignorance, and downright corruption. So let us not debate down there. We observe you comment, and I shall say we self no say we know, because this program we not just they talk about the ills on society. Me and my colleagues now we show how they make them better, and that make we there, and we say how they make them better with examples. So let hold fire there. If any of my colleagues then get something for talk about, then we'll go to the next part where important. When are the lawmaking process in Sierra Leone, where at times, in the context of this bill they will get, where at times we they overlook and make so they make bad laws in the country. Over to you, Mr. Jamboya, if you want to say anything now.
I want to come in and tend for support Mr. Tyru to some extent. But I want to know say, when picking number 63 years, 30 days, they consider himself as baby, Natunku, so that for knocking waste with back. And how they do now? They knock the waste with bat by telling them the correct thing, like how Pabelo they do the Albert Academy. It became bad. You see, on a more serious note, I think the last caller raised a very serious point where you self ask in an indirect way, Mr. Mango. Laws of any country therefore seek the interest of the society where they make up. As the last speaker been saying, it's a common sense law. I understand what he means. That law about the Musa, because that's what they call them, they're in India, and they call Musa. That law had to be changed because practically, if they say let people not kill the reindeer again because of accident, it not go make sense. So they say, okay, kill a no more, but left and there, we go can collect them. A law has to be socially suitable for the people. It should not be taken from some book. And are they the paramount chiefs then for coming, where, as you rightly say, then tend for keep quiet and they allow a lot of things for go bad, where they go back to their constituents. Because one thing where the paramount chiefs them I believe say then get clear is that they have a permanent rulership which transcend political parties and government. When once somebody has been elected as a paramount chief, they did it for life. So anything we get for affect you people them and delay development, I think say now you roll for pick out. But again, I understand where the paramount chiefs are coming from. I understand where that phony convention came from. In 1924, when Ranford Slatter established the Protectorate Assembly, they gave an impression that it was mainly for paramount chiefs. So the paramount chiefs, maybe that was the British way to make peace with the paramount chiefs, if we recollect the Bible issue. The paramount chiefs from that point felt they should be on the side of the government because the government has restored their integrity back to them. It's a socio-psychological situation that we need to understand. So if we want to correct this, I think this is one of the things them we'll get for give constitutional attention. Now we remove the paramount chiefs them from parliament. We give them a house of chiefs, like how you get the House of Lords in England. Let them day, then we get roles for them for the country. As a matter of fact, you mentioned about minerals. Paramount chiefs should be the trustees of all with natural resources. Because every district in Sierra Leone has a mineral potential. Which means every chiefdom in Sierra Leone has the potential to have a mineral of economic value. And according to the United Nations law, the Convention on Permanency of Sovereignty over Natural Resources, the paramount chief should have more say in some of these contracts. Not for they go give them $3 million, or now they take $3 billion, they go every year. But this is not the issue for today. I just mentioned them in passing. But as you rightly say, the paramount chief should become more proactive. But we have made them into lame ducks. So let us remove them from parliament. Now give them a house of their own. We take them lodgeman, then headman, then secret society man, say, una there, una na the trustee of the nation. And as if you ask me, every serious appointment, like appointments for Auditor General, Chief Justice, then and they, if it belong to that house. And that house should not be elected. It should be something where not their own group or then kinsman, they say, okay, you go represent me. Then we give a term limit. We say, okay, every 3 years we change the paramount chiefs. The Council of Chiefs go select to that and they go represent every district. After 3 years, other one term. Because they are lifelong leaders. Let us give them that. Now remove them from this course and feto. I think Ghana has done something similar to what I'm talking about. I think that will help. The parliament, let them do the course and feto. Over to you, sir.
Yes, Mr. Shillon. Any additional law? Then we'll go to this critical issue of law.
All right, just briefly again, with respect to the paramount chiefs, and constituency offices. Okay, the paramount chiefs, on the other hand, because what Mr. Jambura just talked about, so, I mean, it's one great idea, but the beauty about a system to be created is having people of certain degree of intellect for come up with ideas. Then all these ideas they are put together. We will begin for eliminate by process of elimination. We will end up with a good product. So what Mr. Jambore suggested, there are a lot of good things in them. Okay, but now what you will get for paramount chiefs them is ridiculous. You put these people in parliament, you create a situation for them, then built in then responsibility is that they should do nothing. They should support the government regardless of how they feel, regardless of whether it's in the best interest of the government and the localities or the community. So therefore support anything where government, the current requirement is that therefore back the government, regardless of what. So they have no say so. So what are they doing then? What are they doing in parliament? It makes them position useless because they don't get any freedom for advocate their respective constituencies, their interest. So I don't know who that come up with that thought process, they will come up with that thinking there. But these things come about because they may have had one or two instances in which they want the government in power forget the votes of the paramount chiefs, knowing full well that it's not beneficial to the country, but then come up with things and for say, whatever the government say, chiefs have to go along. Well, we get for stop them kind of a law then there. But some of them paramount chiefs, obviously, they can serve a useful purpose. But the way then they serve the parliament is a waste of time. Because like you say, they not get the insecurity of parliamentarians. They are lifetime appointees or elected officials. They are lifetime office holders. So their office they only hold. They're not going to run for that again. So they should not be put in a position where they have to just involuntarily support an ideology or position where now they don't agree with. Therefore, be free for exercise the freedom of expression and waiting good for the constituency and the district. But now they just put them there as I don't know what you call them, but they serve no useful purpose. Constituency office very quickly. I think again, in relation to what my dear friend Mr. Tyler is saying, we look forward. We cannot go backward. So this thing about constituency offices, we know say parliamentarians that by now forget, because I think by now what they do in Australian, then they give them allowance for establish an office in principle, but they are given the freedom or the flexibility of using part of the house or the compound as offices. As good as that may seem, it's time for we to begin moving to a more progressive position whereby maybe the government can underwrite offices to be built alongside with district offices or district councils, where the paramount chief will get an office, or parliamentarians then will get office. Paramount chiefs can get adjacent offices, whereby the constituencies can come and report, because the paramount chief don't necessarily get for day or old court. Because, for example, in the United States, there are situations whereby people, particularly like immigration matters, if immigration, they slow drag your paper, or they not respond, or they don't take a long time for respond to an inquiry, you get the right for go to your local congressman in office, or the senator in office, and ask them, let them intervene. You don't get to meet the senator, but in the offices and set up and tell them that you get an immigration problem that has been difficult to solve or has not been responded to for a protracted period of time. So you want them to intervene. And almost every office of a senator or of a congressman will get involved. They have people assigned to contact, and they will ask you for make you right to a problem, then go contact immigration. Immigration will respond very quickly. They will tell them what's in the matter. So to me, then what would they advocate? Now for improve the system, now for the people. So it's not like one is saying then because they look down, but we think we have the capability of doing any things here. It's my point. We'll get efficiency if we go backwards, or if we want for look for say, we are like babies. No, we're not. We are much too educated. We're much too sophisticated in our thinking, and our practices then lag behind. But I'm not willing to go along with we for just treat ourselves as if we just get independence last year. That's not so. So let me go to Mr. Mengot again. I get me personal opinion. I get forget limitation.
Now go to the real process now when I 201 talk about when I one of parliament's the role for make law. Now remember where I begin talk about the House Business Committee. In Sierra Leone, what we get most of the time, the House Business Committee now in the determine the issues the way they debate in Parliament, right? On a weekly basis. So there are issues and dynamics, so you get the what in Parliament called the order paper. The order paper now in the list issues the way they discuss in a Parliament, whether it be an amendment of an existing law or a new law where they want pass, or now a statutory instrument on an issue for deal with, like where Dr. Abbas Bundu will say, a serious concern where Parliament go call somebody. Like give a recent example. If we remember the terror them say we get this problem in Guinea, where them they try for arrest policemen, arrest Sierra Leoneans them for send them back. Then all of a sudden there was a knee-jerk reaction where some policemen begin arrest people them of full origin. By the country.
A salon? On a salon?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the salon. Yeah. I remember Parliament's been called the IG, the Inspector General of Police, for that he can update them on. And I remember saying that me renege and say they not been give anybody that responsibility there for begin attack, for begin arrest other people because they come from one particular tribe. So this is where Parliament protects the interest of the people. So mostly now the government now they put bill them in Parliament. And when government they put a bill in Parliament, it gets a process. And as my colleague been say, we know of bills that we don't go Parliament, we take 4 hours for go through the various sections then. Right? And then they cause bad laws. Because let's see what's in the happen now other country them under the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association rules and procedure. Normally, and it starts from the UK. When you want to make a law, it starts with what we call a white paper. The white paper is like a statement of intent. Waiting that law there about, whose benefits you get forget, who then are the people that will go involved in that law there. So normally the committee, they get a committee, we go look into that white paper there and make a recommendation. Now they go use now for draft a bill. So I will specify there's a difference between a bill and an act. An act is when a law is given assent. What do I mean by assent? When they don't go through all the processes, they're waiting at them processes. First way they introduce the bill, you get the first reading. When at the first stand down, they will tell the members of Parliament saying, so and so we want to do. Then in some cases, depending on the nature of the bill, then get a pre-legislative committee, a committee where go look into that building and see say it appropriate, it meets what he gets, then he go come back for the second reading. That second reading day, now that's ended in a debate where the full Parliament sometimes they able to give the opinion. Then if there are any amendment, then go make some amendment where you get for go back to the drawing board, then come back with the third reading. The third reading, now then they make sure say all the amendments and all the decisions the way they don't say it's involved. But during them process, then they now make sure at times they can gazette them. then give opportunities to we the people them for lobby with MPs them, right? For let the MPs them know we concern about them bill and they, so that they go actually raise the concern and then get for look at them say if they make a new law, enough for be in competition with any other law. Now make so when you get the final act, you get miscellaneous provision under the 9 and they list the acts them where either they go annul or they go make sure say it relates to this bill. So when you don't do all that thing and they before it becomes law. So we get them 2 bill there where on they call acts, we get the safe motherhood when the abortion below no say they're man of the cloth, the reverend and the religious people and don't kick against. We got a civil society, we don't kick against anything any. Then we get this serious counterterrorism bill, where some people in the column Counterterrorism Act 2024. We get a lot of implications. So I outline them process here because in lawmaking, the people then get for being involved either overtly or covertly. And if we not begin do that thing and it come back to waiting the one call been talk where they talk about constitution. We don't talk about constitutional amendment for several reasons. And if we want to do them, either amend constitution when I dey for protect the people then, where we the people them, they always say they don't go pass a bill in a parliament for say law going to a referendum, then they can't change anything in the constitution. It will even be worse than USA will come out. So now my own comment down on that, but I read Mr. Tyler again in the camp. He said the institution of Paramount chieftaincy was a creation of colonialism to facilitate the principal goal of the colonizers. The exploitation of the territory for the profit of their home country, Britain or France or Spain, etc. If Sierra Leone should progress and should make, we should make a root branch changes in the anachronistic creation, in this anachronistic creation. Sorry about that. You know, so we don't age small. I got to look good with the writing. So, Mr. Tailu, thank you very much for that. For some of we read history, remember when they talk about colonial independence law, bring this. There was a famous British governor in Nigeria who was Lord Lugard. Lord Lugard, if you remember, and I mean bring this policy of divide and rule, where in Nigeria, they actually been get the northerners them for rule themselves. Now make sure you get the emirs them, then the westerners them and the easterners them. They use religion for colonize them. And Sierra Leone play a very major part in that process because Frabe College was actually established for train men of the cloth. So now some of them people and they been dispatched all over Nigeria and Ghana and other places as missionaries. So they use another system, which is religion, for colonizing people. And we in Sierra Leone, we still experience that. We then divide the country into colony and protectorate. And we still get that mentality there of colony and protectorate citizen. That makes us get problem. That's my only comment. So I don't talk about this. So Mr. Jamboya, I don't read the process. I don't know if you want to start by giving people them the overview of this counterterrorism bill, or what they call Act 2024. Then we'll go to a legal man for let's say Rob Motspan this small.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. But before they go to that bill, I get one or two issues who I want to raise.
Okay.
This this concern the readings of Parliament, of bills in Parliament.
Yeah.
According to the rules, the first reading, not just the synopsis of the bill you they introduce to Parliament. What I mean by synopsis, the title and some details about what in the bill they have. Then for send and for printing. So which means after first reading, it should take nothing less than a fortnight before then they can start second reading. Why I bring this issue, we don't mention about bills that they take few hours to pass in Parliament. So are we following this procedure? The other side about it, with this bill where one can discuss about this counterterrorism bill, I find it difficult to understand why a bill that was set for last year is now going to be tabled in Parliament. Because when they did that Permanent Counterterrorism Act of 2024, and we are no longer in 2024. Why? What in the delay and what in the reason we spoil that bill when only now the public they know better? But these are just rhetorical questions. You may not want to answer them here. But we just want to make people aware, say, there are lapses and overlapses in procedures. When they point to what you will begin with, say, with parliamentarians, then they need more intellectual capacity building. Because these are the things we should be looking at. Then also, before you can get a bill through second reading for Senate and committee stage, when they discuss them in the well of Parliament, that's when parliamentarians have their say on the structure and legal content. But my question is, do they even have time to read these documents and ask certain questions? Because reading this Counterterrorism Act of 2024, where I go camp and this now, the first thing where they stand out is that the drafting is poor. The use of language on that document is so ambiguous that it's dangerous for such a bill. It's very dangerous when you they put a bill for counter-terrorism and such acts were pertinent to state security for make the wording very ambiguous. One thing you get to understand, Sierra Leone, the best criminals on earth are the most intelligent people. And most times they are the most educated you can find in the block. So if you want to make a bill that is going to be efficient, you get to be very careful about the wording. Otherwise, anybody can cause trouble. He gets a good legal firm, then come then trash the bill as nonsense. I would advise people that only listen to we, let them find this bill and read them. It's online. You can download it online. Just write the Counterterrorism Act 2024. Read it yourself. The English use is for secondary school, honestly. We get to do better in Sierra Leone. A country is not a marketplace where you go to buy and sell. It's a place for serious business. Because a country, the primary duty of any country now for secure the lives of the citizens. And you cannot secure the lives of the citizens with a law that any smart guy can go through and make them into voting safe tissue paper. Now, going to the bill, there are a lot of concerns that have been raised by reading through it. But as I've been advised backstage, we may not deal with all of them today. We'll find another time to come and deal with them. But what are the major things that we get for focus on now? Added to what I don't say, this bill gets a lot of risks there. If them pass some as it is, there are a lot of risks. Of course, the first and most important side of it is the bill, they create institutions them added to the present state institutions where we get, where they duplicate function. And security issues not a thing for duplicate function. That will require rapid action. Secondly, there is so much ambiguity in it that the definition of terrorism is not clear. And therefore, you they expose a lot of people to the risk of political abuse, economic abuse, and other things like that. So there, they ask the one that way they discuss this bill in Parliament, then they listen. Let them go through this document line for line. Let them read and ask questions about the meaning of each sentence. Because there's too much ambiguity. As I say, I want that we discuss them as a team when we don't go through one. We will pick these ambiguities and discuss them with Mr. Shillon as the technical man. Let we see the loopholes them, how them bokup and this law. Then let we do comparison with other countries in Africa, because other countries in Africa then get the anti-terrorist law. They'll go see how dangerous we lobby. If I reach there, I go hand over to Mr. Shillon. Then we can continue.
Okay, I just want to make one comment before I go to Mr. Shillon, because we talk about how to help Parliament. And this might, for example, Mr. Shillon, you know, say now, every year, we turn out over 500 or more lawyers.
Something like that, I think.
Okay, not only that, one of my suggestions what I make, and this was based on my experience in the Westminster setting. If I be as part of empowerment, like students the way they in the qualifying year. Yeah, what I mean by qualifying year, the year where the day before you go your final year. Now, if I make a provision for them, let them do a spell in Parliament in whatever area, so they're going to work with MPs them, right? And the benefit is twofold. In that working way that they work with MPs them, it can even help them forget a dissertation topic. Then it will also help them for understand the workings of government and also support, because if you get a student when an engineer, let's say they work with an MP, where then they talk about road constructions and everything. From in knowledge, in engineering knowledge, it can able advise that MP, they produce document for her, so that when the debates come, the MP will be more informed and take participatory action in Parliament in the lawmaking. The same with lawyers, the same with medical students. Now, one of the most common, we get the common degree in our university now, mass communication, and for the one I go frown on, now the peace and conflict studies. We get so many people the way they do peace and conflict studies, but all time would they make would they talk about peace. Even the next topic we want to go back on before this one, now on peace with the Okada riders them. So that's 7 months day. Then I give Mr. Shillon your time for talk about this whole thing.
I think the issue is very extensively addressed, except I just want to make one clarification. I think when you say the students, I want people to understand, say, for example, which is the same now, you can get an engineer, you can even get a medical doctor who wants to become a lawyer, because there are people who hold multiple professional qualifications. So if you get a law student who is an engineer, In fact, science students they intend to make better lawyers because their minds have been trained into viewing things from a point of precision. So they can get a better grasp of theories than even the art students them who are generally believed to be better candidates for the profession. So that situation, they like when Mr. Mengo they talk so, those are these are some of the creative ideas then. Because you don't graduate that many, even if it's half of that number, with the population of Sierra Leone, we cannot sustain 200, 250 or more members of the bar, new members of the bar yearly. At some point, it will become overly saturated and the profession itself will not become worthy of the reputation it holds because of the fact that they cannot make any serious living. So as we create all the law schools here or medical schools, we're going to find that at the end of it, these people are not going to be students forever. They are learning or going to them professions here so they can become better, productive citizens. So the people who set policy, therefore begin to look how these people are absorbed into society for make a meaningful difference in people and the country as a whole. But for those, like what Mr. Mengo talk about this conflict resolution, is that, well, I don't want to question the intention of the one that would think, say, this is, at this stage, of all the thing we Sierra Leone need, whether we need for beginning the grip and conflict resolutions. Which conflict are we going to be resolving that we think say worthy of giving? I can see if we give a diploma and say a 6-month.
No, the title is Peace and Conflict Studies. Peace and Conflict Studies. So it means,
but I'm sure. Okay, go ahead.
The title is Peace and Conflict Studies. Peace and conflict studies.
Okay, but
so it's
I'm
like
sure
an oxymoron.
Precisely, because if you study, well, I don't know if you could study peace, but if you study conflict, you get for study the resolution of conflict. How do you resolve conflicts between groups and people and all of that? So peace itself, I don't know. If a place is peaceful, I don't see much studying you get for do. So. But that said, back to Unan.
Okay, Mr. Yeah.
Where they get everything wrong in Sierra Leone. Peace or conflict management is part of a series of discipline. It's not a distinct discipline. That's what is put under the social studies or social work.
Yeah, you can take some courses in that.
Every civil society movement, every NGO, community service personnel, the need for get abilities in conflict management, but it should not be a professional qualification.
I agree.
It should be a cause towards a professional qualification for social work or social service. Along that, you do other areas like disaster management, environmental management, work ethics, etc., etc. These are all causes that are put together what they call social studies or social work. Me no know say Salongo pulled up, they say, then forget peace and conflict management as a cause. Yes, you may have people who want to do it because they want to come back to teach. But you don't have to teach people to go and do such courses to come and work. What kind of work are you going to do? If na community service the work you do, then you may need to know something about conflict management. Because conflicts happen every day.
Okay, so we get one call on the line before we get one call on the line before we go to this piece. When at the second part, where they say they want to make peace between the Okada rider them and the regulatory agency then. So we'll get a call on the line, Mr.
Shillon.
Shillon, give good the prompt. Yeah.
All right. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where side you call from?
Yes, so let me again for the Mustafa. I just want to talk. I read Jamengo talks in our Parliament. I know I'm for the negative now, but I know if we say we will help Salon Parliament. Why I say so? I want them to listen how they can debate now for Salon Parliament. Where the government out, unless they say they kill 500 people per day, the ruling bench then go just the clap. And the other one them then go say, no, this is not correct, this is not correct. At the end of the day, then talk, say, all the one they say, yeah, they say, no. They pass them. Look at the way they debate issues them. Even if you talk about the Auditor General, for instance, you want them to say the parliamentarian and the SLP, they don't say you're not correct for sack somebody who is doing job. That means they set a bad precedent for the other one and then they afraid. There are a lot of things they wouldn't work out now, parliament and look, you go ahead and talk about this anti-terrorism, counter-terrorism law. SLP they make a law because the fishing will be in power forever. If the fishing will come on power tomorrow, they will can't pass through a law like that one. They cannot even read it and understand. See, this tomorrow I get for affect me. No, you don't come up from government side. We will pass them. All of these backwardness what they go through today, these through policies, but even budget, they know for the past budget. Look the other thing in the argument parliament say. I don't count this thing for 5 years now. It's a budget every year. Why would they count this year every year? Then Tawat is an angry excuse now. You say, you know, me, you wouldn't count them. Parliament, that means they for do them. Or they for count about the next time. So, the kind of parliament is one talks we go able to help. We cannot because they fixed, they are transfixed. Say, what the government, what the executive count. Parliament can't they don't pass their own law. Every day that the minister, they count the deputy minister, it's mapped with something. You say don't count a parliament today. They will need it for now. If I want to see the thing what they're talking about now. If forget parliament will be say tomorrow and they talk make a law say water for day. If the executive no count water policy, we not go pass the budget for the water side or the energy side. But they not go do so. They continue for the past budget, they make alala, they pass the budget, they pass this, they pass this. Now that kind of parliament will have to there. As long as this power, where this man she don't adapt to what they call the state tools. Now in the remote control, the parliament, the judiciary, we cannot help any of these people. The parliament not alone. You know, get that salary and they receive and allowances. They are not making. Tell me the last parliament, the law they make now only their own law, now they make for that the welfare bill. All the other laws they wouldn't pass now. Then they come out to minister them. Every day minister inside parliament. Look at the other people every day they put. You go see the minister of trade, the minister of this, the minister of that. Now they can't play the way would they go help? I don't think they go help them. Now that I want to put on the table. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks for your contribution. I don't know if we get another call on the line. I think we do.
Yes, we do. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where side you call from?
Mina Alpha, I call again from Alaska.
All right, Mr. Sisse, thanks for calling back.
Yes. When I just talk about the get studies now in Salowina, peace and conflict studies. You know, the former chief minister, which I name himself, I forgot. On this, I think Francis. Before this one.
Francis.
Yes.
Francis.
When we did in England, yeah. When we did in England, you know, say he writes 2 books, well-established books. One name, I think, Civil Militia, and the other one name, the book name, Unite Africa. It talk about how to prevent then conflict here in Africa. How for, you know, when I'm not check them out, you know. So the thing is what they talk about. It's not about what you go study in a school. It's what you believe in, what is there in you. You know what I'm saying? So if people like that write books like that, you go feel say if they govern, everything will be okay. But it's not what you write. It's actually what you do up there. So I just want to point out. Yeah, the book name Civil Militia, one of the books, and the other one named Unite Africa. When I check them out before you become minister. So
okay.
Thank you very much.
So much.
Thank you very much. We're not going to call out. I'll just continue now because we still want to continue with this peace business, but now in another context.
Go ahead.
Okay, now, yesterday was very unique. I'll remind the people there. Because almost a month ago, in October last year, the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, decided say they want to look at the role of the Okada people then, right? And because they're saying that one of the people they way for be like ambassadors of peace. Waiting do, because they feel to say the Okada people them, they always they aid and abet confusion. Because if you remember, for the other way they freedom, they will tell you say, if Okada bang you, he go beg say, "Pa, sorry for me, nothing, I not do nothing." But if you bang Okada, the Okada they all will come they can't get her, they go and lynch you. So these people them now a law unto themselves. Law no. So the UNDP, the United Nations Development Program, this is what I want to say. Then decide say, well, let them bring the Okada rider them, the Sierra Leone Police, and the Sierra Leone Road Safety Authority for let them can sign a communique where get 18 resolutions. Now that I go say. Okay, one of the resolutions start yesterday where them ban Okada them, na particular treats them na place na freedom. If I can tell her off air, they say that the CBD, and what do me know about CBD, my definition of CBD, now the Central Business District. But some of the road they went and ban Okada, now 35 locations. You get Circular Road, when a major road, you get Regent Road, you get Pademba Road, you get Shaka Stevens Street, you get Adelaide Street, you get Couton Road, you get Kisi Road, you get Frobe Road. Then all the other road they will link up to link between Pademba Road and Shaka Stevens Street. Because Sierra Leone, Freetown was a planned city. It is planned on a grid system. So if you take the connection between Shaka Stevens Street and Pademba Road, you start from the top. You get Brook Street, Waterloo Street, Orland Street, then they Liverpool Street, Battle Street, Tegodong, they ban Okada. Now, who said this problem come? When did they do them ban then they? Let's look at some of the things the way they go sign. The first four, I will read them out. Nothing the way obvious. Resolution 1, it said there must be a mutual respect for human rights and adherence to the rule of law in Sierra Leone. Listen, mutual respect. They also talk about there should be respect among state authorities, Sierra Leone Police, SLRSA, and the motorbike riders in the management of road safety in the country. They don't be respect. Number 4, as a formidable body, number 3, the bike rider union should uphold the role of law, abiding citizen with maintaining good working relationship with police and SLRSA. So you get several ones, but the one that we come to mind, now when they talk about say, you forget a system of identification designed by the Bike Riders Union in collaboration with the National Commission for National Civil Registration Agency. So all them tell them put, they even put say, they forget bike riders should report incidents of unprofessional conduct by the police and SLRSA towards to the what they call a body where they call the complaints, discipline, and internal investigation department of the police. So my question, which I bring, number one, we don't get the area where they ban Okada. And if they put area where you ban Okada, before they do them ban them, you therefore get road signs them, where for show prohibited area. Because not to ban it no more. Even street trading, you get forget signs there, where for say street trading is not allowed. Right? The worst thing I don't see now a sign where they put say don't write on the wall. Although that is a road sign. And the one for urinates. Somebody even take a picture where they say this man not for urinates na certain side. You see the sign and the man team up there, they urinate. So my key question is, with all them ban here where they don't ban them, do we have the capacity for enforce the ban? Then one. Number two, parliaments don't go pass law and create a Sierra Leone public transport authority when they for regulate all public transport. So before they ban them, the authority therefore don't design the routes that side and they operate. Right? And the authority now for don't know all the standards here now for therefore even register them, identifying them. That has never worked. So why would they go pass law or they go make this UNDP, they go broker a communique between just one set of road users, the bike riders, them. Because we got other people that were affected. We get the keke people, them. We get the taxi, we get the poda. When they say they complain about the same police conduct, thing like booking. You know what thing they call booking at tongue? When people and days on site, you get for pay, continue certain enforcement officer, certain thing, so that they can overlook issues of and safety concern. So Ansela bring this to the notice. We don't say, and what we can do, I think so we can even get with colleagues in a tongue for go around and monitor this ban because it just started yesterday and see how effective it be. And we get people that we go interview people in a tongue. Because if you ban Okada, nine Frenchman called the bête noire, now the beast. But beaucoup people and they where they use Okada. You understand? So they road then they where they ban them around Shaka Stevens Street. But Sakila Regent Road. So what thing will happen? Is there an alternative? So that left and so and give the chance when the non-transport people them for comments on this issue. We go continue for monitor and within the weeks until we go down get actual picture of people them the experience both back and transport user who will bring to the public. Over to you, Mr. Shilon, you first.
Okay. Now I just want to ask the question. This ban where they impose or this banning, pursuant to what authority did they them do this banning? How? Because usually this is another misnomer in sort of way. If you did pass rules or regulations or laws concerning traffic, it shouldn't come from the central government. It should come from the city government. So what role, listening to what role of the city council in Freetown played? And like we say, the Okada thing here, the vast majority of Okada, I think 80 or 85%, now in the western area, in the Freetown area, they exist. They are hardly few. And there are some districts that may not even have Okada because the need for which may not even exist. So I just wonder, even in terms of the basic ground rule, under what authority is the UNDP and other governmental organization meet for come up with this banning? Mr. Jamboria, is there any way you can explain to me?
Okay, let me explain to you now.
Mr. Mengot, actually. Yeah.
Okay, let me explain to you now. In Sierra Leone, we have 3 distinct acts of parliament and regulation which deal with traffic law enforcement.
Yeah, but this is the thing.
The first act,
Parliament should not be passing laws for traffic. It's just ordinances. But go ahead.
okay, we have the Sierra Leone Road Traffic Act 2007, and under that act, you get a miscellaneous provision which say they can make a regulation pursuant to that act. So we then get Sierra Leone Road Traffic Regulation 2011. Then more recently, we get an Act of Parliament in 2023, which creates the Sierra Leone Public Transport Authority, when are they responsible for all regulatory affairs relating to public transport. When they're not involved in this. And when they say public transport, for like viewers, they understand. Now, Okada when a 2-wheel, keke when a 3-wheel, taxi when a 4-wheel, poda, and buses. So, why create a legislation that you get an authority, as you said rightfully say, in this one, even the city council is not involved.
Mm-hmm.
The city council is not involved. The SLPTA not involved. So, we go ask, what's in the legal basis? Because police can make regulation in traffic because they get that mandate there. But for do that, as I say, you get for gazette them, and you get for be in consonance with existing law. That is my comment. We have one caller that will give Mr. Jamburia your turn. But we go continue this one. So there was a caller on the line.
Yes. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you call from?
Hello, viewers. This is Omar on the call.
Hey, Mr. Omar. Nice for your voice.
Yeah. First of all, I just met something where Mr. Shilom talk. What make you see when Okada the bank civilian passenger in the big or person, then when one Okada bank, they see a lot of Okada they cannot because of a lot of mob justice will happen. Before, when something happen, accident happen, whether the Okada get right or the passenger get right, before people they come, police they come, they don't beat the Okada open almost to the point of death. So now that make most of the way you see where one act up, whether the Okada get right, they see a lot of people they come to the rescue. So now that more they happen. So now then I come again to what he make. You see what he mentioned. So all what he they talk to Mr. Shilon, Mr. Mengot, everything they in place. Not today we don't start. This CBD, actually don't start from the time of the late government ANS. You know, but just like what we can talk all the time, where a car in terms of traffic na Freetown, you know, we just can't impose law on people when you not give them alternative.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this road they already call the CBD area actually we say is stop when at the boundary. I hope I will give me small time. Like explain you now the CBD because I will preach within it. The CBD, the side where the bike there for stop now Regent Road, Equa Street, and sorry Regent Road, yes. Sorry, I don't forget Freetown Small, but Regent Road Junction and for Kamba Eastern Police, when the bike in the come up gone, now they for can't stop. Then the bike the way they come on out dead west for can up to Sykes Street, now they stop. Then the bike they come out Kintom, the cutting at Kintom Bridge, now they stop. Now what thing they do now that the time will be executive of bike rider within the western area now that then government them they come into the bike riders, then they block the organization for seek the affairs and for seek the affairs of the bike riders. So what thing they do just because of the political gain, then they marginalize the ordinary bike riders and they put their own political operatives in at the aim of affairs of the bike riders. So when that happens, they know they get that time for explain the problems of the bike riders. Now the journey problem of the bike riders the journey of the bike rider, if you don't tell them say let them not kind of the CBD area, which is right, and Afia and say Ifia, make them give them alternative. But you don't expect, you don't take a license, and you don't insure people and bikes over how many thousands of bikes, that you don't give them roads for ply, they tell us that they use mountain court. If you go on a mountain court, when they block the right bike down Kisi Road, you meet sometimes it take 15, 20, 30 minutes, the bike may stop. No way not even go. So government they create no alternative, and then just the count system and law for bully the bike riders as if they are not citizens. And then they pay them tax, then they license them bikes, and now one of the people with the license, yes, now one of the like I can say the biggest customers of road transport. So then therefore respect the bike riders and make sure so they give them alternative when they go apply if they want to be in the CBD area. And one thing again, you know, go say you get CBD area, we say you get how many thousands of bike rider, you get 500 of them, they apply all the areas with the protection of the police and some political authorities, that you get masses Italians say they're not for candy. So now that makes the laws they need to hold. If you want to implement the law, we're not necessarily enough for implement the law, but you get to give the bike riders alternative. But if you don't give them alternative, you make a big hole and you put snake inside a cat, then you say let them fight. Everybody they fight for come out. So then they also get to find a way out. So now that they happen at Freetown, the CBD be done all along, not to today it start. In fact, even when we talk for IMAC bikes, we've been the spray bikes then at Freetown. The taxi color, this one be done the Apple, they be the spray bikes them, the taxi color, not to today it start. But if they don't get special number plate, when I'm not commercial number plate, what type of identification get they need for bikes? I think the government get for be sincere of the bike rider, and they don't for expect the bike rider say they say they compete with society, but then just take everybody, then just impose law on them. They not recognize them like say then also are equal citizens. I think that's not the problem. Alternative. Thank you.
Okay, before Mr. Jamboria can say, let I repeat something. My last call and not be listen to that part there. Government and the Parliament then passed an Act of Parliament in April 2023. That Act then creates the Sierra Leone Public Transport Authority, when they for regulate all public transport. So rightfully, as the caller said, now they get for determine the different routes for different public transport. Now they get for decide whether for operate where and when, whether they get operating license, what you need for operate a public transport. The institution there, that law they don't pass almost 2 years. But up till now, the institution is not up and running. And as we say, there's too many overlaps of responsibility and also lack of consideration of existing rules and regulation when they make other rules then. So now that I get for say, I don't know if Mr. Jamboria Wakaisai or Mr. Shilon want continue. But we go follow up this one.
Yeah, I go yield to Mr. Jambo. I go yield to Mr. Jamboria.
Yeah, Mr. Jamboria. You have the last word on this one, sir.
Einstein once said, you cannot solve a problem using the method that caused the problem. That's what we keep doing in Sierra Leone. You see, Freetown is a city in Sierra Leone. Freetown is not Sierra Leone. Poor planning, lack of coordination, overlap of institutions, and they cause all them problems. Right enough, whatever issue you are going to take up in a city connected with circulation in the city, when I say circulation, I mean transportation, connected with utilities in the city, electricity, water supply, etc. The city council,
even movements.
Yes, the city council has the priority to do the planning.
Mm-hmm.
That's a global rule. But here is an arrangement made You dey go involve United Nations, but you not involve the city council. Are we really thinking in Sierra Leone?
Too much education.
Let you bed inside your room. You go left for ask you FM picking and let them help you pray the bed. You go take man and neighbor house, they can pray me bed. You know, something is wrong with us in Sierra Leone. As he said, the more we get so-called educated, the stupider we become. Because what in they happen, the more the Sierra Leonean feel say it's sabi book, the more egoistic and self-centered they become, the more self-protectionist they become. So in order to take what the other people they say serious, who don't know you for can't tell me. That's the mentality that is taking us to all this crisis. Why you forget a conglomeration of motorbikes in one city when Sierra Leone needs transport in all the towns? Can't we find a way to get these people to decentralize and go to other towns and cities to operate? The very parliament where they pass them lawyer, most of them come out up line. Then cities they not get services them where they not put up. They know they sit down think say we'll talk about how we can encourage them bikes here. Let the union shape them across the country so that we go get less jam in the city. Yes, we know. The bike is the fastest means of transport in Freetown now. So more people use it. Then comes another problem of city planning. Since Jesus was a boy, I've been saying, because Freetown is growing, we need to decentralize the commercialization. Wellington, Grafton, all these areas should have market centers. It's not a business of government to do that. It's just the business of government to create the policy. Now they go take private investors for can build estates na Juba and Lakau. I don't remember how for decentralize the market centers. Where na more of money making than the houses when they waste time. Because when you decentralize the market center, if boy has a company selling textile, I can rent stall na Frobe, I rent na Wellington, I rent na Kisi, I rent na Grafton. I put people in there because I get for sell me goods. The more areas I rent, the more money they make. But since we get independence, everything is in the CBD. You want buy cassette leaf safe pass you go to CBD. This is what we have. Because the intellectual class has failed Sierra Leone. We sabi book, but we know they make use of we book. Let them left the poor biker there. Let them begin think how to solve the problem. Not a biker creates the problem. As a matter of fact, the bikers we have today, like creation of we intellectuals with recklessness. When we decided not to plan Sierra Leone and make it a better place and went to war, after the war, most of the people who they ride bike, at the end of them in disarm and demobilize. As compensation, they allowed them to ride bike. So biking became popular as it is all over West Africa. Why is it that alter we lack for create crisis? Were we made for crisis? If every black man make for crisis, me, Mohammed Boy Jalo Jambo, I'm not made for crisis. That's why I'm not afraid to say it as it is. I would end there, sir.
Okay, sir. Before you finish, one thing where you talk about where I will just make two response to you before I give Mr. Shilon the last word. What you talk about now normally we profession, because I'm both an urban planner and an engineer. Now we call land use planning.
Yeah.
Where you do land use planning, you get to look at the distribution of activities and centers of activity, where you go reduce the concentration of traffic in a particular area and dispersed. So something where they grafting. He get in hospital there, he get in school, he get everything. He not get need for even water safe. Then finally, when they talk about training, it might interest you to note that we they build so many universities them, we got so many courses them, but there's no university in Sierra Leone that train people in urban and regional planning. None. So planning is not part of our DNA. So I rest my case and give Mr. Shillong the last word.
Well, I could just say, instead, by whatever means of construction, we decide for train more lawyers than for train more planners. That's all I have to say, which I think is just completely off base. You know, in the order of priority, we need more town planners. We need more infrastructural experts. We need so many things, but the legal profession of which comes way down the scale. We need more doctors. We don't need 200-300 lawyers a year. All it will do, it will create a crisis not too far from now. Because 10 lawyers here, society expects a lot from them in terms of their economic stature or status, and they are not going to be making the requisite amount of income befitting the profession to which they belong. That's all I have to say.
Well,
So,
good
night, everybody. Yeah, good night, everyone, and hope for soon next week.
We always say good night.